Welcome to the Tactical Dad podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Cook, and I am the Tactical Dad. In this episode 54, we are discussing more about co-witnessing with a gun scope, the ultimate accuracy upgrade. So we dived into co-witnessing in one of our last episodes because with sights and zeroing in scopes and diving more into the deep woods with scopes and sights, this is something I came across, so that would be a good topic to discuss since I had to do some research on it, and I still am, to be honest, but found a few useful features and a few reasons for why you would have co-witness, because that's a question that I asked, like, why would you have co-witness? Like, what's the whole point of it? So we discussed what it was in the last episode. Right now we're going to go into why you would have it. You know, is this why optics have mounts? And is this why some optics have risers and that good stuff? So there's a few reasons. It's a backup sighting system. One of the main reasons to co-witness is to have a backup sighting system in case the primary optic, such as your red dot or green dot, we discussed in the past as well that red dot is really a broad term, so basically your scope or sight, whatever you want to call it, just a backup just in case that fails. So if the iron sights are properly aligned with the reticle, the shooter, me can shoot quickly, can switch to the iron sights and continue to shoot with a high degree of precision. Transition to iron sights for a lot of us, the transition from an optic to an iron sight can be difficult if the two systems are not properly aligned. So with I actually experienced that a little bit, doing some dry fire practice with my Mantis X. Like I did experience it a little bit, and that was interesting. So that may have actually been the trigger to dive more into this subject, to zeroing in and co-witnessing. So that's a real thing, not just something I found online. Faster target acquisition. Aligning the iron sight with the reticle of the optic can make for a faster acquisition of the target, especially when shooting at close range moving targets. Personal preference. This is not a personal preference yet to me, but maybe it will be one day. But there's a lot of people with the personal preference, because some people prefer to have different options, multiple options for aiming with their guns. So that's a good backup option. In competitive shooting, time, and this is where I think I might start to really appreciate this, or at least have a greater awareness of this when I start doing more competitive shooting, because time is a extremely crucial factor, not just how accurate you are in competition, but how fast you are. And depending on what the drill is, or what stage you're at, or what the competition is, time might be more than accuracy. Accuracy might be worth more than time. It depends. But either way, time is crucial. So having the option to switch from an iron sight quickly could be a big advantage there. And if it's you or me, and I'm not used to only the optic, the iron sights can help me shoot more accurately too. So it's really just a backup. And so a couple of things to consider is just basically the manufacturer. Not all firearms and optics are designed to co-witness, so it's pretty important you check the compatibility of your optic and your firearm when attempting to do this with the two things. So check that. One of the next questions I asked is this why some optics have mounts? And found yes, one of the main reasons for the existence of specific mounts for optics is to enable co-witnessing. Optic mounts are designed to hold your optic securely in place on the firearm to allow you or me to adjust the position of the optic in relation to the iron sights. So someone just messaged me. So that was interesting. That's really one of the big reasons why there are mounts. And then the next one is this why some have risers? Because you've got the optic itself, and like for us, we offer a riser, and it's also one of the main reasons for the existence of risers for optics is to enable co-witnessing as well. Risers are the small platform that the optic sits on. So the riser sits on the rail, and then the optic sits on top of the riser. And risers are small, so risers are just them small platforms that raise the height of the optic above the rail. And this can allow you to align the iron sight and the reticle of the optic properly. In some cases, iron sights are a little too low in relation to the optic, or the optic sits too low, so you can't properly align them. So in that kind of situation, the riser is used to raise the height of the optic in order to achieve like a correct, proper co-witness. So that's one of the main purposes of risers, which is pretty cool. I always wondered if is it just like a comfort thing, so you don't have to adjust your head and your eye position to, you know, and experience some strain. But it turns out there's a little bit more to it than that. So that's more on co-witnessing. Why would you have it? They're just a handful of some reasons, and that's why you have optic mounts. It's also why you have some risers as well. If you didn't know what to do with your riser, I think you'll realize when you start trying to do some zeroing and when you start to try and do some co-witnessing. That's all from me on this subject. Thanks for joining me. I will see you in another episode. Peace.